हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल आईएएस कमांडो। हम सीसैट की सीरीज़ कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं एंड इन दिस सीसैट वीडियो वी आर going to see how to deal with time and work question. Obviously, time and work question can be solved through unitary method, but it takes a lot of time. So how we can save time in the examination, that is our biggest concern in for exam. So let's see what are the tricks we have in our sleeves to do time and work question. Let's move on. So there is a particular way the time and work question has been asked over the several years in various aptitude papers. So actually in time and work questions, the question is given in this way that there are two persons or there are two entities A and B, and this A is able to do a particular amount of work say in A days. So for example, A does a work in 10 days, alright, and B does a work in 12 days. So in how many days A and B will put together will do the work, alright. So if we apply the unitary method, so if A does a work in A days, then in one day A does 1 by A of the work. Similarly for B, B does in one day 1 by B of the work. So in that way, uh, A and B can work together, then their combined work is 1 by A plus 1 by B. Alright. So if we put together this in more good format, then we'll get that in one day A and B can do A plus B upon A by B work. Alright. So you can remember this formula. So if the question is asked directly how both of do will that will do work, so you can directly do with this equation. But there is one more method in that we don't have to remember anything, and it's much simpler also if you are good with percentages. So let's see what is the method. So for example, it is given that does a complete work in 10 days, all right. So then in one day it does 100 by A% of the work, all right. So if A work completes a work in 10 days, so in 100 so in one day A completes 10% of the work, which is 100 by A, that is 100 by 10, it's 10%. Similarly, if B does a work in B days, then in one day B does 100 by B% of the work. So for example, we say B does a complete work in 20 days. Alright, B does a complete work in 20 days. So then in one day B does 100 by 20%, that is 5% of the work. In one day B does a 5% of the work. Alright, so in that way we can calculate anything. So for example, if it asks that in how many days A and B will do the work completely, alright, so you can see, in one day how much work is done. Alright, so in one day both of them will do 15% of the work together. Alright, so you can say in how many days the work will be completed. So I think this is much a easier concept if we do in terms of percentages. Why? Because definitely percentages are easy to calculate. All right. So let's now move to the UPSC question. What does the UPSC question says? So it says if a person X can complete 20% of the work in 8 days and another person Y can complete 25% of the same work in 6 days, and if they work together, in how many days will the 40% of the work be completed? All right. So what can we do in these types of questions? So let's see. It says X can complete 20% of the work in 8 days. All right. So basically, if 20% of the work is completed in 8 days, so we know that only 1 by 5th work is completed in 8 days. So to complete the total work, what you will do? Multiply it 8 into 5. All right. So we know now that 40 days are required for A to complete the work. Similarly, if we see Y, so 25% of the work is completed in 6 days. That means 1 by 4 of the total work is completed in 6 days. So we need 24 days. B need 24 days to complete the entire work. Okay. And if they work together, in how many days will the 40% of the work be completed? All right. So we can see that uh, 40% of the work is completed. All right. So in one day, if we see, both of them together will do 1 by 40 plus 1 by 24 of the work. So if you take this, I think the LCM will be 120, and you will get 5. All right. And plus, so we'll get what? 8 by 120. All right. So I think you are going to get 1 by 15. All right. So you are going to get 1 by 15. All right. So now what is there that they need 15 days to complete the whole work. All right. And so in the question it is asked how the time needed to complete 40% of the work. So 40% of the work, definitely 40% of the work into 1 by 15. Why? Because 1 by 15 of the work is done in one day. So from here you can definitely know that 6 days are required to complete 40% of the work. Alright. So this is how we do this question which is asked in the UPSC exam. Now let's move on to the other question. So now see, another question has been asked in the UPSC examination. 24 men and 12 women can do a piece of work in 30 days. In how many days can 12 men and 24 women can do the same piece of the work? See here, now men and women can do together a piece of work in 30 days is given, but nothing is being given about uh, how much men only or women only contribute to the piece of work. So now they are changing the number of men and women. So how can we tell the answer when data is not given? So data is inadequate to draw this conclusion. All right. So we cannot determine this. So let's move on. Now there is another question asked in the UPSC examination. A man completes a job in 7 by 8 of a job in 21 days. How many more days it will take him to finish the job if the quantum of work is increased by 50%? Now here see, it is given in a fraction of 7 by 8. Alright. So if we take this 8 as 100% of the work, so let's take this 8 unit as 100% of the work. So the man has already completed 7 units of the work, and that 7 unit has been completed in 21 days. So 1 unit of the work has been completed in 3 days. Alright. 1 unit of the work has been completed in 3 days. Now the question says that if the how many more days will it take him to finish? If the quantum of the work is further increased by 50%, so increase the quantum of the work by 50%, that becomes 4, so that becomes 12 unit. Now this 12 unit work has to be completed, but the 7 units had already been completed, so you get 2, so you get 5 units. Now since there are 5 units of the work to be completed, so in how many more days the man will take it to finish? So just do 5 into 3, so that becomes 15. So this is how you get your answer. See, this is one of the shortest question in the examination. If you are in a right frame of mind and if you know the concept, see, CSAT is not very tough exam. All right. So let's move on to the next question. So there is one more concept in time and work problem. So see, work rate into time is equals to work done. All right. So if a person is doing 1 by 15 uh, part of the work in one day, so to complete the entire work, obviously he is going to need 15 days. All right. So then total work will be completed. If he takes 14 days, then 14 by 15 of the work is completed, not the entire work is completed. All right. And draw parallels between this. Speed into time is equals to distance, or velocity into time is equals to displacement relation. So then you come to know that work done will be constant. All right. So if you have to if you require less time, then you have to do work with more intensity. All right. So that's why work hard for the UPSC examination if you want to clear it in less time. All right. Let's move on to the next concept. Now there is one more concept the concept is, most of the time statement is given in this way: A is twice as efficient as B when work is given. So when A is twice as efficient as B, you are going to take the work done by A as 2 times that of B. Alright. But see the difference between the statement A is twice as efficient as B and A is thrice as efficient as B, or A does the same work as B in 1/3 of the time. So then you will get A is equals to 3 times of B. A is equals to 3 times of B. Alright. So this is the difference between these two statements. So do keep in mind while you are solving the questions. Now let's see. The question is given: 8 men can do a work in 12 days and 20 women can do it in 10 days. In how many ways? In how many days 12 men and 15 women uh, complete the same work? All right. So see, whatever work, let's say X is the efficiency of men and Y is the efficiency of women. So a man can do X amount of work in 1 day. All right. So 8 men in 12 days, whatever work they are doing is equals to 20 women doing some work in 10 days. All right. So here we get X by Y is equals to 200 by 96. All right. Here we get X by Y is equals to 200 by 96. So that means whatever work a man does, it is approximately equals to twice the work, because you see, this is almost equal to 100 and this is 200, so it is approximately equals to twice the work, a little more than, let's say, 2. So you don't have to calculate also in entirety, just do some fast calculations. So whatever one work a man does, so let's take it as X is equals to twice the work done by a woman. All right. And now the same amount of work has to be completed by 12 men and 15 women. So they are asking the number of days. All right. So there are 12 men. All right. So they are doing 2.08 y plus 15 y is equals to whatever work 200 y the women are doing. All right. We can equate that. So because that is the complete amount of work that is required. So if we take this approximately as 25 and if we take this as 15y, all right, so we get 200 and into time obviously, so we get 40y is equals to 200y into time. All right, so from here we get that 5 days are required to complete the work by 12 men and 15 women. All right. So this is how we do this type of question. You just have to equate the efficiencies of the men and women. So you can see the solution here also. It is done in the form of man days. All right. It is done in the form of man days. So the number of days we get is equals to 5 days. So this is how we can do these types of question. Let's see more question. Now just see this question. A is twice as efficient as B, and if they complete a work in 30 days, find the times required by each to complete the work individually. Alright. So in this question what it is saying that A does work that is 2 times the work as done by B. So and together they are doing this work in 30 days. All right. When they are doing together this work in 30 days, so B is able to complete the entire work in 90 days. Why? Because when they are working at 3 times the efficiency of the B, then they are taking 30 days. So when B alone is working with his own efficiency, then you will get 90 days. All right. And then we know that A is twice as efficient as B. Alright. So when B requires 90 days, then A will require 45 days. It is logical. Alright. So this is how we can do this type of question. It is very easy. You just have to apply a little mind. Alright. So don't be lazy when you are doing these kind of questions. They come very easily to you. Now again, see, A is 2 times more efficient than B. If they complete work in 30 days, then find the time required to complete the work individually. So see, in this kind of question, what is said is there, A is 2 times more efficient than B. So A is पहले तो B का efficiency तो है ही, and then there is a plus more 2 times the efficiency of B. So 3B, and together they are completing the work in 30 days. So we get 4B is equals to 30 days. Means when B is working 4 times his efficiency, then that work is to be completed in 30 days. So when B is working on his own, then you can complete the work only, then only you can complete the work in 120 days. So this is how you can do. And what now you also require A. So we know A is doing the work 3 times that of B. Alright. So it will require less time than B, and how much less? You can divide it by 3. So you get 40 days. So this is the time you get. So this is very logical. Alright. You don't have to calculate much. You just have to think it in your mind and you'll get the answer. So never be afraid of the work and time question, and I think it requires a less time than any other question. So if you know the concept of work and time, the same concepts can be applied to pipes and cisterns also. So these pipes and cistern, you just have to fill the tank, and taps will be there that will be opened or closed. Alright, so based on that we have to answer the question, so it's easy. Alright, we have to follow the same principles we are using in work and time. So let's see, a cistern is normally filled in 5 hours. Alright, and however it takes 6 hours when there is a leak in its bottom. So if the cistern is full, in what time shall the leak empty it? Now see what is given, that a cistern is normally filled in 5 hours. Alright, so normally means there is no leak. Alright, so when it is filled in 5 hours, so in 1 hour 20% of the tank is filled. Alright, in 1 hour 20% of the tank is filled. When it is taking 6 hours, so in 1 hour you can see 16.66% of the tank is filled. So in 1 hour 16.66% of the tank is filled. And see, if in 5 hours, in 6 hours, 1 hour 16.66% of the tank is filled. So then if the question is asking, if the cistern is full, in what time shall the leak empty it? Alright, so you know that 3.33% is leaking, 3.33% will be leaking. We'll get to know from here. Alright, so if the cistern is full, and in what time shall the leak empty it? So 3.33% of water is lost from the system every hour. So if we multiply this by 30, so you can definitely see, you can get 99.99 something, and when you get this, it is almost approximately equal to 100%. So in 30 hours approximately we are going to have to see an empty tank. So this is how you solve this question. Alright, there is not much calculation if you know well your percentages. Alright, so I always prefer to solve these question in terms of percentages. So this is how you can do. 5 hours you get 100%, 1 hour 20%, 6 hours 100%, 1 hour 16.66%, empty in 1 hour is 3.33%. So full empty in 30 hours. So it's not that difficult, but remember to apply the concept whenever you see in the examination. Let's move on. See, now there is another question. It is saying that there are 3 taps A, B and C. They can fill the tank in 10 hours, 20 hours and 25 hours respectively. At first all of them are opened simultaneously, and then after 2 hours tap C is closed, and then A and B are kept running, and after the 4th hour the tap B is also closed and the remaining work is done by tap A alone. Find the percentage of the work done by tap A by itself. So what we have to do in these kinds of questions, let's see. So see, this is saying that A can fill the tank in 10 hours. Alright, so in 1 hour A is filling 10% of the tank. In 1 hour, A is filling the 10% of the tank. In 20 hours, B is filling the entire tank. So in 1 hour, B is filling 5% of the tank. Similarly, C is there. So in 25 hours, C is filling the entire tank. So in 1 hour, C is filling the 4% of the tank. Alright, now you can see then after 2 hours tap C is closed and A and B are kept running. Also, alright, so till 2 hours all these 3 taps are working. So in that hour 20% of the tank is filled by A, 10% by B and 8% by C. And then for another 2 hours except say both the taps are being opened, so another 20% tank filled by A and then another 10% tank filled by B. All right, so in total other than A, B and C are filling 20% plus 8%. So there is 28% of the tank filled by B and C. So 100 minus 28 because the rest will be filled by A only. So you get 72% as the answer. So D, none of these is the answer because you are getting the 72%. So this is how you can do these questions. It's not a very big deal. Alright, only thing is that if you are good in percentages, this calculation is just mental. Alright, so you can see the solution here. Let's do one more question of this topic. So the question says a tank of capacity 25 liters has an inlet and an outlet trap. If both are open simultaneously, the tank is filled in 5 minutes. But if the outlet flow rate is doubled and taps open, the tank never gets filled up. Which one of the following can be the outlet flow rate in liters per minute? Alright, let's see what can be the answer. So see, if a tank is filling 25 liters in 5 minutes, so in 1 minute, alright, so in 1 minute, the tank is filling, you can see 5 liters. Alright, in 1 minute the tank is filling 5 liters, but if the outlet flow rate is doubled, alright, so the outlet taps open, the tanks never get filled up. Which one of the following can be the outlet flow rate? Now, when 5 liter is being poured in the tank per minute, so then it is filled in 5 minutes. So now, if the outlet flow rate is doubled, so see, uh, we have to choose the answer from these only. All right, so if the outlet flow rate is greater than or equal to 5, so then the tank will either be remain some with water or get entirely empty. So we get 6 only. All right, because greater than 5, the options given are 6 only. So this is how we can do this type of question. All right, so we have seen what kind of questions can be asked with the help of examples also. So now we have covered what all work and time problems will be asked in the UPSC examination. Now, uh, another topic which is left is allegations and mixtures, and we will work something on percentages and averages also, and there is permutation and combination left too. All right, so if we will do these all topics, you will be done for the CSAT, and I think with there will be no chance that you won't be able to clear CSAT. So thank you so much for watching the video, and if you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And all the best to all the UPSC aspirants. May you get selected this year. All right. Thank you so much for the discussion.